Thank you. Close your eyes with me just for a minute and imagine you are on one of the galleons, the sailing ships coming over from Europe, and you just reached the shores of North America. And you're disembarking the vessels, climbing down into one of the small rowing ships and reaching the coquina-covered sand. And you look up, and what do you see? You see massive, tall forests. You see jungles, lush, thick jungles with plant growth. You see flowers, flowers, and more flowers. You see food. You see what I call volumetric green. You see green everywhere. Now open your eyes and think about the urban core here in Jacksonville, downtown Jacksonville, or for that matter, any other city. What do you see? The volumetric's gone. The green is gone. What's left is horizontal black, horizontal concrete, horizontal asphalt. And because we've destroyed that volumetric green, because we've brought it to its knees, we've created many crises. But the good news is plants can bring it back. And you can bring the plants back into the urban core on a scalable, cost-effective basis. And the benefits are great. The benefits are many. I want to talk about the benefits just for a minute, and then we'll discuss some of the methods of how you can do this. Plants are amazing, amazing. Plants are the only creature, species on this earth that can actually eat sunshine, and they do every day. Plants, the root systems in plants, take water and filter it. NASA has a couple of experiments where they've taken sewage sludge and turned it into drinkable water just using plants. Plants clean our air. Any afternoon on a hot summer day, you can look out over the river in Jacksonville and see haze, see smog. And it's the same way in most American cities. But plants, what they do is they breathe in that carbon dioxide, the same gas that we exhale, and they turn it into oxygen. I want to thank Eric for bringing in the hollies and the purple muley grass in the auditorium here today. But the amazing part about plants is for every two of those holly trees, those plants produce enough oxygen for one person in this audience to breathe on a daily basis. So imagine what you're doing when you're planting vegetation, trees and shrubs in your yard, or on your balcony, or on the walls of your building, or on your rooftop. You're pumping out fresh oxygen every day, 24/7. Plants also are amazing at providing us with food, fiber, and medicine. I want to tell you a story about medicinal plants, and this really touches my heart. You see, I have a titanium aortic valve, and I have a Dacron aorta. Last year, my aorta dissected all the way from the heart up down to my feet, and they replaced a good portion of it, but they can't replace all of the aorta, and they have to keep me alive using specialized medications. And one of those medications was developed right after 1933, and it came from plants, because of research on plants. I'll tell you the story about it real quick. There was a farmer in Wisconsin who had a huge cattle ranch. And whenever he would castrate his bulls, some of his bulls, after eating sweet clover, they would not clot, and they would hemorrhage and bleed to death. And no one knew why. It wasn't just sweet clover, it was a fermented sweet clover. So he went to the University of Wisconsin one day and asked the professor there, why are my bulls bleeding to death when I castrate them? And so the professor did the research and found coumarins in the clover that interfered with clotting ability of blood, and coumadin was developed. And a lot of people, even here in the audience, I'm sure, take coumadin for heart problems. But coumadin keeps the blood around my titanium valve from clotting and keeps me alive. So that's just one example of sweet clover producing a medicine that saved my life and many others. Aloe, a great medicinal plant, the poppy, I could go on and on. Taxol for cancer. And these plants, they take dirt and air and water, and they make these medicines that man can't even synthesize in the laboratory. It's unbelievable what the power of plants. But not only food, fiber, and medicine, plants provide a platform for wildlife habitat. And wildlife is critical. 99.9% of all the species that have ever lived on this planet are now extinct. And with our horizontal black, our horizontal asphalt and concrete, they're diminishing in existence at an ever increasing rate. So what we've got to do is bring plants in to provide habitat. And you bring plants and put them on your wall, your balcony, or your roof, and you will see the insects come. And when the insects come, the tree frogs and the anoles come. And then the raptors come. And even the eagles come. So you build it, they will come. Plants are critical for wildlife habitat. They also create a marvelous sense of place because we're so caught up on electronics today and LEDs, but the visual color flowers can provide are so great. This is one of the materials, high tech, that we use to bring plants back into the urban core and put them on walls and put them on a roof. It's a three-dimensional weave. Just one of the ways it can be done, but this is the method that we've tested at the University of Florida. Run hurricane winds over plants growing in this weave in excess of 130 miles an hour, and the plants just stay put and don't jump off on your neighbor's roof. But the way we do it is we take that fiber, that three-dimensional weave, the plants grow their roots down into that weave, lock the dirt, the soil media in place, and when you permanently attach the weave to a roof, you can put soil and plants on there. This is the Breaking Ground contracting roof here in Riverside, Avondale. And this is the Breaking Ground contracting roof after the mat's been put down and eggplant are growing on it. Now, economic opportunities are awesome for youth in the urban core. You know, go down to the corner deli and ask the owners if you can put a green roof on top and grow organic basil and parsley and sage and rosemary and thyme. It's amazing what you can do on the roof. There's hundreds of acres of wasted space in the urban core, just waiting for high-tech farming. I call it high-tech farming, and the kids love it. The kids will just present you with all kinds of ideas as to how to improve growing plants vertically and on the roof. You don't have land, you don't have a roof, you have a balcony, you can do the same thing. Bring volumetric green back to the urban core. This is a photograph that I borrowed from Michelle's Facebook page. Michelle's here in the audience. And I want to tell you why it's important, okay? Michelle said that she had 17 monarch butterflies as a result of putting these plants on her balcony. Now, if 100,000 people in the state of Florida did the same thing, that's 1.7 million more monarch butterflies that we've got in this state today. It's scalable, it's cost effective, and you can do it. You don't have to have a commercial building to put a green roof. If you have a sloped asphalt roof, such as this roof here, you can grow all kinds of lettuces and vegetables and flowers, attracting pollinators. The beauty of some of the new cost-effective green roof systems today is they're very lightweight. And if you have a historic structure, they fit many times on the limited rafter space that the load-bearing capacity that those rafters have. Again, this is the Breaking Ground green roof. I just love that roof. It's an amazing integration of sustainability. If you look at the air conditioning units on the left, the condensate, which would normally be piped off the roof and dropped to the ground, is now piped over to the vegetation and used for irrigation. So no, zero potable water is used to grow those plants, just rainwater and condensate. The habitat that roof provides is amazing. Anytime you go up there, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of pollinators. It's totally amazing. This is on a small historic structure, and what I would say in conclusion is that I hope, for many reasons, stormwater, air quality, food, fiber, and medicine, sense of place, beauty, habitat, that we could all envision a small piece of our property, our balcony, our roof, our walls, our windowsills, and we could start bringing back volumetric green into the urban core, bringing back green, the jungle, bringing back to our cities today, so that when people arrived by boat or by airplane, they got off the plane and walked out into Jacksonville, what they would see is the new American jungle. Thank you. Now, I want to give a shout out to U.S. Green Building Council, because with any technology, you've got to have resource spaces, okay? You've got to know where to go to get the information on how to do these projects. And I'm really sold on the educational component, not only of what the people that are building green roofs here in Jacksonville, like Breaking Ground Contracting, but USGBC, North Florida chapter, what they're doing, they're bringing an educational resource center downtown to make available to anybody that's interested in doing a cost-effective, small, scalable project, the information and the resources to do that. But not only are they being a library or a go-to place for information, they're living the life. They're walking the walk. This is their plans for the facade of the Sustainable Resource Center. They're going to put a living wall all the way up in the front. If you want to find out any more about urban greening and what we're doing, I've got a blog, kevinsonger.blogspot.com. Thank you very much. Enjoyed it.